This is Pickering, Ontario. Home to nearly 100,000, on its lakeshore stands a colossal symbol of power and energy. The Pickering Nuclear Generating Station, one of the oldest active power plants of its kind in the entire world. But behind its imposing presence lies a series of peculiar events that cast a shadow of mystery on the region during the late 20th century. The plant's first reactors went online in the early 70s, but it's the incident of 1983 that sent shockwaves throughout the community. A fateful day when an accident threatened the safety of the plant, its workers, and the people of Pickering.
Australian experts have been studying a major accident at a nuclear plant in Canada.
At the Pickering facility, a refueling rod inside the reactor burst, sending a deluge of radioactive water onto the floor of the reactor building. And while no radiation leaked into the environment, Canadian officials were indeed embarrassed. Later, it was determined that the accident was caused from a buildup of brittle metal on the fuel rod that caused it to crack.
One worker, Bob Dobson, found himself at the center of this nuclear nightmare. Exposed to radioactive fluid during the incident, Bob's life took a bizarre turn. After being sent home to walk it off, with little more than a pat on the back, he began to experience an unsettling transformation. His skin darkened, as though he had frostbite. In some places it calcified, and in others it began to peel. Even worse, a noxious substance oozed from his pores, thick as molasses. He had grown angry and agitated, and was in constant pain. Then, one night, in a fit of rage, he fled from his hospital bed, never to be seen or heard from again. The story doesn't end there. In the following weeks, reports of a monstrous being roaming the lakeshore and the Rouge Valley began to surface. Mutilated fish on the beaches, deer carcasses bearing human-like bite marks, and entire packs of slain coyotes hinted at the presence of a sinister force. Couples parked in lovers' lanes adjacent to the valley were terrified by a creature that reeked of sulfur, a dark beast that brought death and chaos to the woods. Encounters with a hideous human-like creature covered in a dark slime were reported from time to time, but were seldom taken seriously. In the early 1990s, sightings ceased entirely. So what happened here? Modern science tells us that radiation exposure almost never results in the mutation of superhuman abilities. Could the 1983 Pickering nuclear incident have caused poor Bob Dobson to transform into an inhuman monster? An unfortunate creature, born of radiation, cursed to spend its days feasting on raw flesh in the woods. What about the dead animals found in the area? Or the strange sightings at Lover's Lane? If it wasn't Bob Dobson, then who? Or what? Only time will tell. Hey folks, if you like my videos, or even if you hate my guts, let me know in the comments.
Have you been